Hey guys, welcome to episode 17 of the House of Rep, aka Thor. I'm your host, Ray Janjua. I'm joined by Pri, my Valkyrie and fellow member of the team, and Z, my brother and fellow Rep Knight. And we're going to be going into this film that we've watched. So stay tuned for another great episode of the House of Rep. Hey guys, how you doing?
We're doing good.
Hello, what's up?
Alright, so today's episode we're going to talk about Bad Boys for Life. Right?
Yes.
Bad boys.
What you gonna do?
I forgot this.
What you gonna do when they come for you? You gotta remember the lyrics. just like what he says to Will Smith. That's so funny.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I love that tune, at the start. I remember when I first heard it in the first film. I was instantly hooked. I was waiting to watch the first film for a long time. I remember seeing the VHS cover for it, and I was like, I gotta watch this film. It's got that wicked Porsche in it. The guys look like badass. Whoever made that first poster for the first film was amazing. Second film was great too.
Good, yeah.
We'll do.
It's kind of like Will Smith had a highlight in the 90s of like good action films.
Yeah, he's always had really good stuff. Like a lot of people bash Gemini Man. Which is one of his latest outings. Technically, it was an interesting film to try. It wasn't bad, but Bad Boys is way better. It's almost got like a similar concept and theme. About generations and stuff. But we'll tap into that. So this podcast is about Bad Boys 3. We'll do retrospective podcasts on Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2, respectively, in due time when we get the chance. But let's get into it. So Bilal and Adil are a Moroccan duo. They directed this film. So basically, they're Moroccan filmmakers who made this gangster film called Gangster. And also a movie called Black, which was about like a Moroccan gangster falling in love with a member of a black gang, and the two gangs are fighting or something. So that caught the attention of Hollywood. Bruckheimer and Don Simpson's company. Jerry Bruckheimer, by the way, is someone I really want to work with. He's one of my favorite producers, and I really want to have a shot at making something like this. We're only hopefully a couple of films away from doing the same thing that Bilal and Adil did, so it's great. Pri Z, tell me what you think about this film.
Z, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, alright, cool. My initial reaction after watching the film is that I was really impressed with how they took the third film, because usually the third film in a trilogy of films usually kind of does a bit of a mess, or it doesn't quite capture the ending correctly, or it doesn't finish up the story very well. But in this one, it was really good how they kind of put a little twist on Will Smith's character and his whole background, and I liked the direction that the film took, and with the little nuances and jokes in there, I thought it was really nice.
So tonally wise, the comedy and the action were quite good. It's really
a lot like the first film, with lots of lovely cinematography elements from the second film, and some good jokes just put in there, all in the mix.
Yeah, so it's like nice throwbacks to the first film, honoring Michael Bay's style and storytelling and homages from the first two films. Cinematography wise, they're matching that Miami Heat look that they had in the second film. They've added new things like a new Porsche, the progression of the characters, but then they added this deep kind of side story with Mike Lowry, which we've never seen before, which we'll tap into in a minute. You're very right about sequels. We've had lately a couple of like lame duck third films and stuff, second films and things like that people don't like because they've kind of dropped the ball. Like for example, remember Mass Effect 3, the train wreck of that. We've got like a lot of this blowback with Last of Us 2. I think they've dropped the ball with that, with the writing. It's when you get a little bit too ahead of yourself, and then you like just basically put too much in it. You do something that is against formula.
Like sometimes it happens even in Michael Bay films where he just puts too much into one film
Mm,
and loses the essence of storytelling and narrative
mm,
for the sake of it being bigger and better. Where sometimes it doesn't need to be bigger and better, it just needs to be a more intimate story.
yeah, with like certain action hooks. Like personally,
Yeah.
I feel Pri, you were gonna say something?
I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good action comedy movie, isn't it?
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so. Very much so. And that's really what you want to see. Whether it's a sequel or not, just it being a self-contained film, which has some remnants from the past films, is what makes it work. So, number one, what you got to try and do when you're trying to make a movie, even if you're coming onto a sequel, is just try and make a good movie, within the confines of the script and whatever that is. Then, after, worry about, basically whether or not it ties in, to stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that we had with Rise of Skywalker and these other films. We still have to do our Rise of Skywalker podcast. It is coming, guys. It's just that we've had so many different things that we've been doing. So that one will probably be the next one after this. So let's talk about Will Smith and Mike Lowry's character arc. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, I like the these two working together, acting
Mm.
like in this movie. I mean, let's talk about the plot. Like, what do you think about the witch when the witch was escaping from that prison? I mean, do you think that was a good scene? Like
Yeah, I
how?
think that scene was awesome. I think Mike's arc in this film is particularly interesting. I didn't really see it coming because I intentionally didn't see many trailers for this film, or I didn't get a chance to go to the cinema to see it. So I just bought it straight away and waited for like a Blu-ray to come, and to see if it was like going to be really good. And like watching it the first time via a Blu-ray was amazing because like when we had the sound system all set up and we were watching it, it was just amazing to see it again. And all the kind of beats and all the plot points of the original film, the frenetic action scenes and stuff, they were all great. It felt kind of like Lethal Weapon 4. And that's why I love Lethal Weapon
Yeah.
4 a lot. It's like the guys are starting to get a little bit like a little bit older, a little bit more grizzly, and they want to kind of retire. But Mike's kind of holding on to that old school bulletproof Mike kind of attitude where he's just gonna keep going and try to stay single, try to stay as this kind of player guy, and then you find out why. That when he was undercover, he fell in love with this wife of this drug dealer cartel guy. They had a kid, and then spoiler alert. Well, I don't want to give it away, but I'll put a disclaimer at the start of this podcast. But basically,
Do you remember Z
yeah,
when
Brie.
Will Smith was being shot and Ray was so worried, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? And
So
then
true.
he's
I was like,
not.
I was so afraid, yeah, that basically they were gonna do some BS where Will Smith was on like some limited contract, and they were basically trying to basically pitch this film as though it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, and then they killed him
Yeah, I
or
literally
something.
have to cover your mouth. You were like, "He's gonna die. He's gonna die. He's gonna recover. He's gonna recover." I'm like, "Wait, let's see what happens." Oh my god,
Yeah, so it was really great.
he doesn't have
What did you
kids.
think, bro? Like,
Well, yeah, I thought, when I think about the film in retrospect, I think it is a bit shocking when you see that scene because they're kind of like just mucking about and trying to say, "Oh, we're not old. I can run really fast," and that kind of thing. But now that you see it, it's kind of funny as well at the same time because
mm,
it's like a bit of a weird scene that
mm,
it happened in public.
yeah,
I thought that you could have had another scene where they were like on a mission, but obviously the tone of the film is different because of Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus Burnett,
mm.
and how he's adapting to becoming a father and obviously,
You mean
more
you
than
mean
that in
you
the
mean
film.
becoming a grandfather because he's already a father in it when the film starts. The thing is, what I
Yeah,
really like about the film is that Mike's always been like the trust fund player kind of guy. He inherited money, so he likes to flaunt it, but he's still a serious and very hard cop who likes to do stuff, but he's a little bit off the rails sometimes. And then
yeah,
Martin kind of plays the straight man who
yeah.
wants to go home to his wife and is trying to balance his relationship with his wife and partner and the kids and all this kind of stuff. So he's the family man. And then when their roles
It's
get
kind of
switched,
funny because when you look at um, their real life personalities, you'd think they'd play the opposite characters.
Is it?
Because
Yeah.
How are they
Martin
in real
Lawrence,
life?
being the comedian that he is,
Yeah.
you know, he's quite loud and quite outspoken and quite really funny when you see his stand-up stuff. The stuff he says is hilarious on like Def Jam and other stuff like
Right. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great stand-up
Whereas
comedian.
Will Smith was quite straight until he started doing like Fresh Prince and other stuff and more comedy and stuff like that.
I really love both of them as comedians, actors, and people. I think that they're both very, very, very good
And
actors,
musicians, yeah.
great musicians in their own right. I can't remember if Martin Lawrence actually does any kind of music or stuff.
I'm sure he
But
probably just sings like karaoke in the shower or something.
maybe, yeah, like he does Wusa. When he in the second film when he takes the
Yeah, the
ecstasy.
Wusa bit is so funny.
So
When they go to the captain's house.
yeah, I really like the second film a lot. There are some kind of like messy elements in it, but Johnny Tapia is a good villain, and like the whole
Yeah.
tone of that film's quite good. The action scenes are really cool.
Well, let's talk about the
Yeah.
new villain, bro.
Yeah, the new villain. So the new villain's this kid, right? His name basically escapes me. It's like Diego or something, like But basically, he's a badass. Like he can whoop like 7 people or like take out all these people, and he's like the son of that cartel lady, and she basically escapes prison after being in prison for so long. She stabs a guard, creates a riot, and then uses it as a switch. And then they plan their revenge against everyone who basically betrayed them, including Mike. So then Mike's on the list of people who get gunned down, and they can't
His name
really
is
basically.
Jacob.
Oops, sorry.
Jacob's K.
Oh, okay. So this guy's called Jacob Scipio, and he plays Armando Armas. So that's the name of the
Right.
character, Armando Armas. The pre just gave me the notes. So basically, he's very good in it. You've got Paolo Nunez as Rita. So Rita's like a new character. She's been on the team for a while, but been doing stuff on the other side of the department. So her and Will have a pre-existing relationship, and it's very
I thought she
interesting.
was a good character.
I think she's good. I think she's good as Ammo's leader.
Good supporting character.
So setting up Ammo, basically Ammo is like the new version of TNT. So as TNT's sort of retiring, Ammo's like the new team that's going to take its place. So you got like Charles Mantel as Raffi, you got Alexander Ludwig as Dom, you got Vanessa Hudgens playing the young Kelly. Vanessa Hudgens for me is a slightly sore thumb. Like she kind of sticks out because she's been trying to get into hard roles like this for a while, but I can't never really see her other than the High School Musical Tintin kind of look she's had. So when she tries to play like hard characters, she's her she tries, but it
I
doesn't
like
really
her
kind of
hairdo.
her hairdo's cool in the film. That's like one of the
Yeah,
highlights. I mean, she's
she's
trying.
a bit of a kind of like hot ass firecracker in that film.
Yeah, I mean, I thought she was okay in the film. You know, she's got better as a supporting actress, not a lead, in my opinion. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
these kind of films. The other guys, they're okay too. The ammo dudes, they do okay. It feels kind of like a better Expendables 3. Because it feels like these guys are the young guys too, kind of like they kind of had the same kind of style as Expendables 3. Remember, where there's like a new team and then the old team and the new
Yeah.
team kind of fight and stuff, but then they team up all together. So they're very
The thing
similar.
is, the problem with Expendables 3 is that you've got such a large ensemble cast.
Yeah,
You just don't have enough time to show them on screen.
I tell you,
In Bad Boys 3, it's smart because you've only got 3 or 4 characters.
You're right.
And you don't need to flesh them out so much. Just a little bit of exposition here and there. Like, when the guy's talking about the big guy, the big blonde guy, his character about, how he beat up, like, some person for beating up a girl, etc., etc., and then he, like, totally went into the dude, and that's why he's become a softy hacker or computer guy. So that's more than enough exposition to explain why the characters are like that and why they're in ammo.
Yeah, no, that's what's really good because the problem with Expendables 3 is that adding the new cast of Expendables with the young kids was a mistake. What should have happened is that you should have just carried on the arc with the original people and added Wesley Snipes, dropped Jet Li, brought Jackie Chan in or something. Basically, just carry on And Barney and them lot are dealing with the
Yeah.
fallout of something that they
To
did
be
before.
honest, I wanted to see Wesley Snipes' arc more.
That I feel is like something that could have been sort of like followed through better, and you should have utilized Wesley Snipes more because he's a great character as Doc. So the other thing that like the number 4 and number 5 that I want to make if I ever get a chance, based on what they've previously written, I
Yeah.
can do quite a lot of good stuff. There's some stuff I have cooking in my treatments that I wish people could see. I wish Sly could see it, and the rest of the guys like Arnie and the dudes. What they could see is really cool. Like a lot of wicked things happen in that film. Very similar to this, by the way, isn't it? Have you noticed that I wrote
Yeah.
like Expendables 4, and the plot and the strings are very similar to Bad Boys 3. So it's very
Well,
interesting, isn't it?
it's interesting you say that, Ralph, because one of the writers is the guy who directed 18.
Oh, Joe Carnahan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember Joe Carnahan, started the initial kind of setup for this film. I don't know how much plot input he has on the final draft of the film, but he was
Yeah.
originally set to direct it because he's got a similar style to Michael Bay. So I don't know if he's like part of that group of guys who all kind of do stuff together and stuff, but
It's
it's
like
really
him.
cool.
What's the Battleship director's name?
Battleship director's name is the guy who made. He's an actor. I forgot his name. He's an actor turned director.
Yeah, because they all have a similar style of filmmaking.
Peter Berg.
Peter Berg.
That's his name. So Peter
That's
Berg
it.
basically is the guy. I like Peter Berg. He's okay, but Battleship and stuff sucked. Like a lot of the films aren't that good, man. And also, it feel all the guys are connected. Even A Team. A Team is like, I like Knock, his original film or whatever it was. And then I thought, A Team would be really boss. And when I first saw A Team, I kind of liked it, but then I
Did he
didn't like
do
it after.
Smoking Aces as well?
He did Smoking Aces. Yeah, I didn't like Smoking Aces. Like
Yeah.
Smoking Aces was kind of really, really, really nice looking, but had a really shit plot and stuff. It just didn't work. So we'll do separate podcasts about that. Coming back to this film, the plot's really good. Supporting players are really cool. The actors are really good. I like the like the chase in the club, the bike kind of chase scene. I love that bit. You guys found that rubber bullet bit really funny, innit? When he got shot with
Oh
the
my
rubber bullet, the bad
God.
guy, right?
Yeah. Let's pre-talk about that.
Yeah.
No! I want to
So,
talk about a different scene.
but what about that bit where he was poking his head? That bit was funny, right?
I was like,
What did you felt weird about
it
it?
was very weird. And when he was trying to touch it, like,
Yeah, I gotta touch it. I gotta touch it.
know.
I gotta touch it.
And he actually touched it.
Yeah, he was touching it.
And it was like rubbery.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, bro, what about you? What did you think about that scene? That was funny, right?
Yeah, it was freaking funny. So funny, that scene.
What are like some of the highlights for you in the film? Like, what do you really like?
Obviously, seeing the new Porsche was great because it harked back to Bad Boys 1 where they had the Porsche 911 Turbo.
Yeah. What is this one?
Obviously,
The one in this?
he had a Ferrari
Yeah.
in the second film only because the director had a kind of fetish for Ferraris at the time. He was like really feeling Ferraris, so he asked Ferrari to put Ferraris in that film. But that sequence is great, and then it's good to start off with a sequence in this film, in the third film, with a lovely Porsche chase, and that's quite fun. But there's a nice little twist on it at the end, so it's a bit. It kind of, now that I reflect on it, it kind of reminds me of Fast and Furious 6. Where they're rushing, where Dom and Brian are running down the canyon to get to the hospital.
Yeah, it's nice because it's like very similar to that, because when the film 5 ended and they had basically kind of like were driving off into the sunset, they were having a kind of like a race to see how good their skills were. Then when 6 happens, it's kind of like they're racing again, but they're now living there together close by. And then Mia is basically delivering Jack in it. So this is very similar because Martin Lawrence's daughter, his youngest daughter, who it was a nice throwback that she actually ended up with Reggie. So that was great, and Reggie ended up becoming a Marine, I think. So to see Reggie
he looked like one of those service guards? Because his uniform looked quite distinct.
Yeah, I think he's a Marine because that's a Marine's uniform. I gotta remember my
Okay.
military uniform and insignias and stuff, but because I was heavy into it when I was making 5-star script. But I think he's a Marine. So
Right.
so he's like he's I think he's on active service or something, but he's like been able to kind of come back, or he can wear his military dress uniform for the wedding reception. Also seeing Michael Bay have a little cameo as the kind of wedding host, that was nice. To
That
see
was
him.
nice because he had a funny
Yeah.
cameo in the second film when he was
Yeah,
shouting at Will Smith.
he
When
play
was
he
this?
in the second film he plays a driver whose car gets stolen,
Ah.
right? I think he's with Dan Marino, right? Or is it
No,
something else?
it's the other way around. He gets approached by them to steal his
But he
car.
runs away.
But he's like, don't take that crappy car. This guy's driving a crappy car. Get that other one over
Oh,
there.
okay, so he steals Dan Marino's car then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's funny seeing Dan Marino again after seeing him in Ace Ventura. Like he's still kind of like got cameos and things in films.
Yeah.
But two, yeah. So three's really good. Three's got some good stuff in it. The team are good. Ammo got some good scenes. Mike doing his stuff alone is
It's
very.
good to see the captain again as well. It's good how he's
Joey
been consistent
Pontaleno is one of
through.
my favorite actors, and him playing Captain Conrad, yeah, he's like really good in that. It's a shame that he
Yeah.
gets killed off though, but then obviously the character needed to have some kind of reason for being in the film other than just shouting at them all the time. Him
That's
kind
true,
of
yeah.
dying is kind of sad, but it adds a kind of an anchor for Will to try and get revenge. The only thing that's really interesting though is that once he finds out that the kid's his son and he's being manipulated by the mother, it's almost as though he's kind of forgiving him for killing his captain. But in the
Yeah,
script
I
and the
find that a bit odd. Like, you should be a bit more brutal because he obviously knew his captain much longer than knowing this random son that popped out of nowhere.
yeah, this is the thing. Like he has this son he never knew he had, so he couldn't raise
I
him
think
or
he
be there for him.
becomes a bit too compassionate towards the bad guys.
Well, it would be he's in a pretty tough position because obviously his captain got killed, and he's known as captain for like almost 25 years. His captain brought him in on everything, but
Yeah,
obviously, this guy's his son. So
I mean,
he's
he
come
didn't
from
knew
a,
about
he
it.
didn't know about it, so obviously he will try and
that's
like
true.
help his son out and be there for him. Because at the end he's like, listen, I'm gonna help you out. So setting up a fourth film. Like where the kid might come out and help him, kind of like a Jason Statham kind of thing. So it feels like they're doing these kind
Okay,
of sequels within sequel kind of setups, like franchise
right.
building in a kind of subtle way. So it's quite funny how belated sequels become new triple franchises. So
Yeah, it's really interesting that I was also reading about the film how this one has actually kind of grossed better than the other two, considering on how it was made.
I know it's very interesting. It basically made, I think it was made with less of a budget because Michael Bay and Will Smith demand some of the highest salaries. And then
Right.
what basically happened was is that this film feels like it's less than two in budget, but it made more. So that's really good. So that's going to set Bilal and Adil up for more films. So I can't wait to see what others they're going to have cooking for Sony.
That's
So
true.
Yeah.
so yeah, so
That's
for
true.
90 million, it's a really good movie. I wish I had those kind of budgets to play with. The kind of films that you would see me make,
Look at the box
it's just
office.
so good. Yeah, 419 million. Really good. So this is the type of stuff, the kind of level that we want to try and get to. It's only a little bit away from what we can achieve. And I
Yeah.
know without, I can say without fear and any arrogance that I can do these kind of films.
What did you think of what did you guys think of the cinematography?
I loved it. I thought it looked amazing, the film. It looked very clean. It looked very kind of high-end and that highly stylized look. I love that kind of look, that kind of summer-kissed, hard kind of, I would say hard edge. That's kind of like what I call it in my head. It's like kind of got
Yeah.
this summer hard edge look. I like that cinematography style. What do you guys think? Pri, what did you think of the look of the film?
I mean, it was really good. I like it definitely. But this particular scene is going on in my head round and round and round and round.
What's that scene?
Remember when they went to meet the accountant?
Oh, yeah?
The dodgy
Yeah, the
accountant?
dodgy guy who was on
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah. And they were like going together with like,
Yeah.
we're going to knock and talk. What happened to the knock and talk? He was
Yeah.
asking that. And the
Yeah.
funny part is like
Yeah.
when, yeah, Z. And when he actually went in, remember when Martin was like, I'm going to penetrate the soul with my heart.
That bit was funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he's so funny in that. It's the same thing like the Wooster thing.
It's a bit like that second scene with the Haitians
Yeah,
when
well,
they
yeah,
like raid the house.
yeah. That bit's cool. I love that bit. That bit's a sick bit. Yeah, when they raid that Haitian guy's home after the chase out.
I think they also did a good job this time with some of the stunt work as well. I thought that was quite nice. It was very
Mm,
a little bit like John Wick, you know, with the bike sequence and the
mm,
car chases and
mm,
stuff like that.
mm. It's very unique because we've never seen Michael Larry and Marcus on a bike. You know, they're normally on like
Yeah,
cars and
and
stuff.
also it's good to see another bad guy on a bike because
Mm.
you didn't have any bad guy on a bike in the previous two films.
Yeah,
A lot of the stuff
Tapia.
was very car based.
Yeah, like Tapia had some weird car, and he had like some kind of I can't remember. He had like a Stair UG or something like that. No, a Stair TMP. He was shooting them with a TMP, trying to kill him after his house gets blown up. So he has some just generic car that he's chasing him in. And they've got that Hummer H2, which is Pree's favorite car, by the way. She
Yes,
loves Hummers.
it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah,
It's the
and you
best.
can see that that car's wicked
But
because it
I
takes
think
out a whole
you
house.
like the Porsche so much,
I
right?
love Porsche. They're like my favorite
How
brand.
is that?
I call them Porsche, but apparently it's supposed to be pronounced Porsche.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
but
that correct,
It's
Z?
Porsche.
Porsche.
Seriously, is
Yeah,
it Porsche?
but I call them Porsche.
I
I'm
call it
always gonna
Porsche
call
as
them
well.
Porsche.
But
Porsche
in
are the
that scene,
best.
remember when he was coming out, Martin was coming out from the
Yeah.
Porsche car and he slammed the door?
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, you know, easy." And he's like, "Oh, that will buff out." He's like, "Oh, you gonna buff that out?" You know, you know what I mean? I love Porsches. Ever since I've been a kid, I've loved the 911. I want to get an old 1980s or 1970s Porsche. You know, if I ever can afford to, it'll be really great. And hey, Porsche, if you're listening, you know, you got me as a brand guy if you want. Like, if I get a little bit higher up and you know people really love me, I don't mind. You know, we can sign a deal. You get what I mean? Like, you know, so we're
Oh,
riding
cheeky,
Porsches
cheeky,
and
cheeky.
stuff. But I love Porsche a lot, you know. So it's really great. They're a
What
great
did you
company.
think of the like kind of like the subtle? I wouldn't say subtle, but what did you think of the overall like leading to the end of the movie, the visual effects of the film?
Yeah, I liked it. You know, I really liked that they use CGI sparingly for like background effects, explosions, you know, other things like that. So the helicopter work at the end, they just used it really there, you know, to kind of save
Yeah,
money and time. The final scene showdown, the location work was amazing.
Yeah, that was
That was
really nice.
exactly what I pictured for Bullet in the Brain. You know, that location. So I've written a
yeah,
new version of Bullet in the Brain that I want to showcase audiences, which is going to be what is like a proof of concept. So the original one was the trailer for a film that didn't exist. It was kind of like a you know, like a concept trailer of this story and set up. But I actually have a slightly longer script that will
Mhm.
lead to a feature film about Matt Brogan and his adventures hunting down the killer of his girlfriend, the Minder. So that kind of place, Zacapens, looks like that abandoned Mexican house. So that Mexican house with all of its circular kind of railing designs, it looked like some abandoned hotel or something. It was an amazing final sequence. Either it's a set that was constructed or it was the same place that they used in Batman versus Superman, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not really too
maybe,
sure
yeah.
because it looked like the same place where Superman fell. You know, it's like some abandoned place in LA or something. You know,
It looked like a giant church that's been abandoned.
yeah, maybe.
It looked
I
like a
thought it was a
building.
hotel or something, like it was some
Yeah,
abandoned
yeah, it's
hotel or
like a
something.
hotel. Yeah.
Casino maybe
But that was
even.
a very romantic, like, chilling environment look, the way they portrayed in that Bad Boys movie. I mean,
Mm.
don't you think that scene would be feasible for vampire movies as well in the
Yeah,
night
I mean
coming out?
that place with all the curtains, like especially when like his wife returns after the plane crashes, you know, not sorry his wife, I'm saying his old flame. When she kind of comes, the curtains are kind of billowing, and then the sun attacks him. I can understand where Pre can see it as a kind of vampire kind of film. I think they're trying to tap into the actress's telenovela background to give her kind of homage to that, because that's where she kind of comes from. This actress whose name
I did kind
escapes
of
me
like
right now.
her kind of. She was like the mastermind behind all the assassinations and stuff
Yeah.
and getting her son to do
Kate
the dirty
Dell.
Yeah.
work.
Kate
I
the
thought she was
Castillo.
quite an evil
Yeah.
character in that sense.
She was good because she had like she was jilted basically for him betraying her. She called him like the betrayer or something, you know. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
And
It
you
was
know,
funny
seeing
when DJ Khaled also came in from
DJ
nowhere.
Khaled's cameo was funny as hell. You
Yeah,
know.
I thought he was gonna be rubbish, but he's quite good in that.
Yeah,
Now.
he was good in that. And you know, you had Nicky Jam as the other heavy. You know, the guy gets the plastic bullet to the head.
Yeah.
Teresa Randell comes back as Marcus's wife. So that's great
Yeah, there's nice
continuity
continuity
because
with
they
all the
always
existing
have.
characters from the previous
Yeah,
films.
exactly. So that's really brilliant. I mean, the rest of the kids weren't in the film, but then Bianca came back, Bianca Bethune as Megan Burnett. So that was a good
That's
way for
right.
her to return as well. You know, like so now that we've seen that she's now going to be a mother, you're kind of setting up the next generation, I guess, of bad boys. You know what I
But
mean?
there's also the spin-off show, isn't there?
There's a spin-off show.
There's a spin-off show of Gabrielle Union's character, isn't it?
Oh, there is.
Yeah, I believe so. When I read up about the film.
What do they say about that? What they doing with that? Like they're gonna make it, or it's made, or
Well,
what's
no,
going on?
it's already had like 2 seasons on some network, but
Wow,
I'm not
really?
sure which one it is.
I had no idea.
Basically, her character of Sid from the second film,
Yeah.
I think it happens before the third film.
Okay.
So it's she's doing her stuff on her side of probably Miami, I believe.
Oh wow, really?
And she teams up with Jessica Alba in that series.
Oh, Jessica
And
Alba.
they do their own kind of missions and stuff and investigations.
Okay. All right, that sounds cool. I had no idea
Yeah.
that it was a spin-off or anything. I didn't really know that was going on.
Yeah,
How come they don't
what it
talk
was
about
is
that?
you know the producer on this film, obviously Will Smith is a producer. You've got the classic Jerry Bruckheimer relationship that he has.
Mm.
So he's a great producer. But then there's another producer, I forgot his name, Don something.
Don Simpson.
And not Don Simpson,
It's
no.
not Don Simpson because he passed
something
away,
else,
didn't
or
he?
Doug something.
Oh right, yeah.
And he's basically been using his own production company to push this third film forward.
Ah, right, okay.
And the TV series.
I see. So that's cool. I wonder why they split up. You know, his character. I thought Sid and him would probably end up together and he'd settle down. So that's very interesting. Perhaps they'll get back together, but I'm thinking him and Rhea are gonna carry on.
Yeah, I think it would be quite cool if him and Rhea would get together.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's really cool.
There was good chemistry on film with them too.
Yeah, so I think, you know, overall it's a really great film. I'm trying to think of what else to say, but there's really not much.
No, I like the fight
for a
when
50-year-old.
Well, bro, what did you say?
I said Will Smith is doing a great job for being 50.
Yeah, man, he's
Is he
rocking it still. I
50?
can't believe he's 50.
Oh my god,
He's 50, yeah.
I thought he
he's
was
50
40.
when
I
he's
love that
50.
guy.
I think he was 50, maybe 51 when he made this film.
Man, I want to work with
Wow.
him so bad. You know, Adil and Balil are lucky, man. Like, they're great filmmakers, don't get me wrong, but I wish he could work with the Rep Knights. I mean,
It
for
will
us, it would be
happen
amazing.
one day.
Like, Big Will, I've been wanting to work with him for ages. I love all of his work. Like, you know, since I saw Independence Day, Men in Black, you know,
Independence
even
Day.
like Wild Wild West, you know, even though it
Wild
has some
Wild
problems. I got a
West.
sequel for Wild Wild West, by the way, guys. So if
Yeah.
Hollywood's listening, you know, hey, John Peters, listen up. You know, if you hear this, yeah, like I'm Ray Jua, I can make a Wild Wild West 2 that will actually make money and people will really like it. So I could actually fix that franchise for you if you want. You just give me a call. Yeah. So anyway, going back to Bad Boys 3.
I mean, don't you like the scene when Will Smith and the son was having a fight, and you know when
You
there were
didn't want
two
to kill him,
fights.
innit?
There were two fights. One he
Yeah.
opened. I mean, when he was wearing his helmet, he
Yeah.
saw the face,
Yeah.
and I felt there was some kind of a connection. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
It happened.
yeah.
And then when the helicopter as well, when he was hanging there,
Yeah.
and when he said those sentences, and then he
Yeah.
realized like, is he my son? Like,
Yeah.
I think he happened that realization there.
Yeah, he was feeling it. He was like,
Yeah.
something's not right about this kid. He had the same kind of fire and fury that he has. So that was a really nice touch. I really like it. I just want to watch it again. You know, just
I don't
thinking
mind
about
watching it again. Z,
Yeah.
are you up for the second
it.
round?
Innit? We'll go check it out again. You know, when we We head back. Like, it's a great film.
There's very subtle similarities between this film and Gemini Man.
Yeah, it is, isn't
Except
it?
the only difference is that in one film he's cloned, and then in one film he's got offspring.
Yeah, it's very similar. But what do you think, bro? Like, replay value wise, you'd watch this again, right? Many times, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd watch it on a binge with the first and second film because now there's a trilogy that is because it's taken so long. Literally, there was like a 7-year gap. Not 7 years, sorry. 5. I have to do some math. 5 plus 3 is 8. So, like, there was an 8-year gap from the first and second film because the first film came out in '95. The second film came out in 2003. And now we're in freaking 2020.
Yeah.
So it's like a 17-year gap. So literally they've doubled the amount of a gap, but it doesn't even feel it like that way.
Doesn't feel that way at all.
When you see the actors get back into the roles, it feels like it. Obviously, it's been a long time because you can see new technology and new techniques and stuff. Even like the techniques they're using, like the ammo team in that sequence with the Booker guy.
Yeah.
When they go to try and save Booker with the drone and stuff, they're using like modern techniques, like John Wick for like engaging enemies and stuff, and
tactical
and tactical stuff. Yeah.
It's good, man. It's good. It's really good. So it's a great film. I highly recommend it. I want you guys should definitely see it. Audience should check this film out. I was about to say Will Lawrence. But basically, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are killing it again. The other cast did great. Bilal and Adil directed it really well. Props to them. Hopefully, one day I get to make Bad Boys 6, maybe Bad Boys 7, or Bad Boys The Next Generation. I don't know. My own stuff. You never know. But basically, for us, it's been about, I guess, what was it, 13 years now? We're celebrating almost
like the younger version, isn't it? Bad Boys, Little Cops.
Exactly, bad boy, but little bad boys. But anyway, it's like for us, it's great to see it grow. I mean, for 13 years we've been in the business trying to make stuff like this. So hopefully, in our 14th, 15th year, we can try and get to this level. Because right now we're still at the indie level, but we'll never give up. The Rep Night's got the magic, so it's really great.
So how many stars?
Shields.
Stars.
It's shields, bro. Yeah. So how many shields? Okay, let's rate this. Z, you go first. Tell me your shields.
I'll give it 4 out of 5.
Okay, great. Any negatives about the film you want to talk about?
I think it could have done with some more car chases.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think it could have had one more car chase apart from the bike scene. The bike chase. Because the bike chase kind of reminded me of Venom because it was shot at night. B, it's got very like kind of neon like lighting. It's got lots of like crashes and flame effects like Venom had. I personally like the Venom sequence a bit better. But this one was still very entertaining with the joke when he went under the truck and his head was getting rubbed under the 18-wheeler. I thought that was quite funny, and he was like, "Oh shit, my bad," and then he like pulled it back out.
Yeah, that's fun.
The trike.
Fun stuff. All right, Pri, your score.
4 as well.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any negatives about the film? Things you didn't like?
I don't have much of. I didn't like it. I mean, it was a good action comedy. I mean, if we could focus, as he was saying, more action in the scene, make it more appealing. I think that's about it. It was a good movie overall.
Great, yeah. I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. So it's gonna have a 4 rating from me. A great third film. Good film on its own if you don't want to watch the first two. I still highly recommend it because it actually kind of touches on the first two films, so you don't really have to watch them if you're new coming into the franchise and you just want to see the newer films. Like Z said, it could have had another car chase. I can't think of anything else negative because I think that the guys did really well for their kind of sophomorian Hollywood debut. You know, I mean, they're very experienced directors at doing kinetic action and, you know, grabbing great performances out of actors. So, very good work from them, and may they keep going, you know, and making some great films in the business. And, you know, hopefully we get to meet them and just tell them how good it is in person. But I just want to get to aggregate 4 from us. So, we highly recommend Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah. Wait, we need to end with a song.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with the song. We wanted to do it.
No, Z, you need to start first. We all have to do individually.
Yeah.
Okay. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Come for you.
Oh yeah. Okay, Ray, you.
Okay, so bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? I love that song.
It's my turn.
Go ahead, Bray.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Yeah, that's great. You know, I always mishear the lyric at the, you know, the second verse where it's, when you were 8 and you had bad traits. You know, that's the actual lyric. But I used to think when I was younger, when I heard the song, I was like, when you were 8 and you had backache. You know,
what?
I used to hear backache.
What? Backache?
So I don't know why, man. It's like, you know, it's like those misheard lyrics, like, you know, Outcast and all these other, like Miss Jackson and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just great stuff. I mean, these guys are great. And, you know, this has been a fun podcast. It's always a pleasure to talk to you both about these films, our passion.
Yeah.
And, you know, thanks for being on the show. And this is episode 17, Bad Boys for Life. Stay tuned for more from the R.E.P nights. Thanks, guys, for
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, bye.
All right, see you guys on the next one. Next House of R.E.P.